In a world full of movie podcasts, here is one more. Welcome to Defend Your Movie with Sean Donnelly
and Andrew Fiore.
The time has come again. The champion must end. It can only be one of us. Victoria! So stand up in that, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movie.
Hello, Defenders. Welcome to literally another episode of Defend Your Movie. Regrettably, this is your host, the Cool Breeze, Andrew Fiore, along with my very, very patient co-host, Sean Donnelly, the Dutch Master. I wanted to start off this episode of Defend Your Movie. I should be defending myself right now because, in full disclosure, we taped this episode that you're about to hear, at least the topic you're about to hear, yesterday, and it finally happened. My dumbass forgot to hit record on the Zoom, and we have no episode. So we are doing it 24 hours later. I apologize that this is going to come out late. I apologize to my partner in crime, Sean. We had a fun time. We had a really good podcast, but I think we'll match it, and it'll be another great one. But I wanted to apologize. I felt like a jerk all day, and something I really pride myself on remembering all that kind of stuff. But it's one of those things. I got the quarantine brain happened, and
This is the most Irish I've ever seen you be, Andy.
Yeah.
The apologies are just flowing. I feel like I'm at a family party or something.
Yeah, this is really the Catholic.
Because, well, the funniest part about it was, and obviously, no sweat. Honestly, it's no problem. Like, it happens. But the funniest thing is the point where we realized it was a minute before we were about to be done.
I know.
So literally I go, oh, you want to do plugs? And then you go, you're going to kill me. I didn't hit the record button. And I was telling you before we started just now, I was telling you, like, my honest reaction was not anger at all. Like, I wasn't angry. It's almost like with Zoom being the new thing, I was waiting for this to either happen on a show I was doing or for me to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it had to have happened at some point. So I was like, I don't care. We can always, it's an hour. We can record it, you know?
Right. Well, you're very gracious. I appreciate it. And I apologize, Defenders. But
would you almost say magnanimous? Would you say I'm magnanimous?
Yeah, I say you're glorious and magnanimous. And you're grown up. You're really centered and grown.
I'm centered and grown up. That's right. That's absolutely right.
But so let's jump right into it. We watched a few things. You told me,
well, the good thing about us not recording yesterday is that I watched two movies last night. Like, I was
all right. Lay them on me.
2 a.m. Well, the first one, because I don't think we're gonna. The second one, it's so funny. But the first one is a movie that you're gonna be surprised I haven't seen yet.
Okay, cool.
I might have even lied and said I saw it on the podcast, but I didn't see it. And because you might have talked about it, and I loved it, obviously, because I love the guy who wrote it.
I'm so intrigued.
Glengarry, Glen Ross. I saw. I know.
I am shocked.
It's almost like, why do I have a movie podcast if I haven't seen that movie?
Wow.
And I don't know what.
We make so many references to Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Oh, I know the references. I know the always.
Right.
I knew that also. And I loved it. It was first of all, it's like watching a play. It really is. You can see where it is.
It's a playwright, you know.
Well, it's David Mamet, and I've seen the other David Mamet movies before. I've seen Glengarry. I saw Things Change. There was a couple, one with Campbell Scott. There was a few of them that I've seen before I saw Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Yeah, this is the creme de la creme. This is Mamet at Mamet's peak. It's acting's peak. I mean, it's a tremendous ensemble cast. It's amazing writing. And it's just one of those things you're like, take this brilliant script and let those guys go, you know?
Well, that's the thing. I probably could have directed this. You could.
Exactly.
Because the guy does some interesting stuff with it. I think he just does it like his name's, I think not Joe Roth, Joe something else that directed it. And don't get me wrong, the guy does a great job. He actually makes it feel almost like a play sometimes. But you see him doing a little bit of tricky camera work. Like there's a point when Jack Lemmon's talking to Al Pacino, and he just pulls back for no reason. Like it's almost like, and I think the idea is that like almost like you're sneaking in on their conversation. It's almost like if you sat on the other side of the office watching them talk about it.
Yeah.
But he pulls back on it, and I'm like, part of me thinks he did that because he was bored as fuck, and he just wanted to do something.
Honestly, all his job was my job yesterday. Just hit record. Just make sure there's film in the camera and hit play.
Yes. Yeah. But there was some cool lighting things in there. It was like, it's actually, we're probably not giving the guy enough credit. It's probably really hard
James
to make
Foley
something like
is
that.
his name.
James Foley. And it's probably real, and he's done some other stuff. I know that for a fact, but like, I think, what else has he done?
I'm not sure, but it's got to be hard. You're right to, especially if you're a director at any level, to just have that amount of talent in the room and be like, hey, maybe try it like this. To be like, yeah, right. Well, it's Alec Baldwin, Pacino, Spacey, Jack Lemmon.
Yeah. They probably just ran circles around the guy and did what they wanted. It was probably like just carte blanche for those guys to do whatever.
Yeah.
But
obviously classic, the Glengarry leads. We need the leads. Jack Lemmon's got that classic character. You feel so horrible for him. It's heartbreaking.
Well, definitely, it's that Jack Lemmon character is what Gil is based off on.
It's absolutely what Gil is based on.
Yeah. And he's so good in it, and it's so like you go back and forth so much in the movie, like where you just watch the guy's at the end of his rope, and then when he thinks he's got it, he becomes too big for the roost and fucks himself over by letting that little piece of information out. It's a really it's a good play. It's just a good, and then it's like watching like a filmed version of a play almost, And the language, the David Mamet language, it's probably at the peak of the Mamet language, where it's like, it's the most confident you're going to see those lines delivered. You know what I mean? Where it's the most where it actually seems like that's, because other Mamet movies, some of the characters in the movies, they seem like they talk the same way as Glengarry or Glen Ross, but it's not as aggressive of a script. So you almost need the guy behind saying those lines to be 100% sure this is how they talk. Right. And there's things about the way Mamet writes that is how people talk in real life, but he almost takes the awkwardness and takes the thing to a new level with it, where he's like, there's a lot of repeating of what you said, and a lot of like, you have to be in the conversation, you know what they're talking about, a lot of not spelling out things. Like, there's not a lot of narrative. Like, he's like, you're the guy? So you're the guy. You're the guy? And then you called the guy. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about it, or are you just saying it? Like stuff like that, where it's like, are we talking about it? Or you're just saying it? There's a scene between Ed Harris and Alan Arkin where they're talking about something in the movie. I won't give it away. Yeah, and then the very thing that rings true with the public, and I think in real life is, are we talking about this, or are you just saying it? Like, I think people would say that in real life. You know what I mean? Like, that's where the realism comes out. But when you have line after line of that next to each other, you see how much different it is than a regular movie script. You see, for sure. You see where the playwright aspect comes in.
Yeah. I can't imagine why that cast wasn't awarded more or even nominated for more. The interesting fact, that was Al Pacino out of the whole cast was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And also in that same year, he was nominated and won for Best Actor for Son of a Woman. He was up for supporting and best and won for best.
I'll tell you, he's better in this than he is in Son of a Woman.
I agree.
Better in this, because it's not, because you know why? Because we have the overdoing it Al as our new cutout of what Al Pacino is. And this wasn't that. It was a little bit holding on to the old Al. There was some subtle Al in there. It was like actual Ricky Roma. It was a real, he's amazing in it.
You could have given it to anyone and nobody would have complained. You know, the whole cast. Maybe
absolutely.
Spacey,
no, Spacey's actually, well, not now.
I love when fucking Jack Lemmon starts to dress him down at the end. If you haven't, just go watch it if you haven't seen.
Well, that's very telling. It's so telling of the character. It's like this guy's such a, for lack of a better phrase, such a loser that he gets a little bit of success and it goes right straight to the fucking head.
It's heartbreaking, dude.
It's rough, but you also at the same time you think you're going to sympathize more than you do. I don't sympathize with them as much as I thought I would when I knew what the character was before I saw it.
I mean, they're not good people, but
they're not good people. Yeah. Well, the funniest thing about it is early on when you have Alec Baldwin come in and give the famous speech of Always Be Closing,
ABC,
and then Ed Harris. You have Ed Harris goes, you can't talk to people that way. The rest of the movie, they're all just talking to each other the same way that Alec Baldwin did.
Yeah.
So it's a winner. I would watch it again if it was on.
It's a very good flip test for me too. It's always rewatchability.
Yeah.
Anytime it's on, and it's on a bunch of platforms. I think it's on Netflix right now. You can easily find it if you haven't seen it. Please run to Glengarry, Glen Ross.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Okay, so this is what I should say. I never saw A Quiet Place. Is that what it's called? The Quiet Place. A Quiet Place with John Krasinski.
Movies I really enjoy.
I know. But what I did watch, I never saw A Quiet Place like an idiot, but randomly I saw A Quiet Place ripoff called The Silence.
I don't know it, but I love A Quiet Place.
With Stanley Tucci is in it, who I love.
Is it the same plot?
Basically, instead of it being like, I think A Quiet Place was like aliens, right? Or whatever it was.
And they find you by sound only. So like you can go out in public if you're deadly quiet.
This was prehistoric, these like prehistoric birds that escaped from a cave in Pennsylvania.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And the main character technically was the daughter from Mad Men. I forget her name. And she's deaf. So the whole family knows sign language, so they can survive in the quiet.
Carbon copy.
And is one of them deaf in the quiet?
The daughter, she's deaf. It's in Quiet Place.
It's the same. I just saw a shittier version of A Quiet Place.
Oh my God! And there's like a huge plot point based on that too. I don't want to give anything away, but like I would love for you off air to tell me how that resolves itself, because if so, then it's definitely a straight ripoff.
Okay, well, I will tell you. Well, it's really bad. And there's the guy John, whatever his name is, the one who plays Aiden in Sex and the City, and he's in a bunch of. If you saw, he's in My Big Fat Greek Wedding. He's her boy, her husband.
Oh, okay, I know who you mean.
That guy is he plays like a family friend who's like in it in the beginning, and there's so many bad lines in it. Like he plays like Uncle something, Uncle
Heary,
Uncle Brad or something like that, right? So then the son,
Uncle Brad, he hears real good. This is like blatant.
He had an eardrum transplant 20 years ago.
Your Uncle Brad, he won hearing contests as a kid.
But dude, there's a fucked up scene. I don't know if A Quiet Place has this in the towards the beginning of the movie where the dog is barking at them as they're hitting the window, and the dad just lets the dog out of the fucking car to get murdered. I'm like, fuck these people. I don't care what happens to them now. You killed the dog.
But there is a very
I can spoil whatever because nobody should watch this movie. It's not a good movie.
But A Quiet Place is great, and it's a really cool technique how they do it, and there's no dialogue for the first however many minutes, and it's going into it you go, is this going to be watchable? Like, how's that going to work? But it's kind of like the same thing, and not to compare the two, but like There Will Be Blood, where like there's no sound dialogue, but you're so entranced.
Yeah,
it's a very cool movie. I would recommend A Quiet Place. And can
I still watch A Quiet Place and enjoy it, you think?
Yeah, and I think you'll be okay too. It's not like a horror movie. It's got some scares, but it's a really good movie.
Well, this wasn't a horror movie either. That's why.
Yeah, horror movie is not, I don't want to even classify A Quiet Place as that, because it's really more about the family trying to survive in this kind of scary time rather than
dude, there's a moment where they go to this, they finally come upon this lady's house in a town. And I guess it's like almost like somebody doesn't know about Corona. Like she comes out of her house and they're trying to get
a megaphone.
Yeah. She's out with pots and pans and starts banging them. They're trying to get into her yard. So like they out of nowhere, there's like trinkets on top of. Oh, you mean
the prehistoric birds?
No. I mean, the family. They're trying to get her property because they're running from they're quietly walking away from these birds. So they shake her fence and there is like pots and pans at the top of the fence and they make sound, right? and she comes out of the house and she goes, "This is private property. What are you doing?" She's yelling. And they're making a hand motion like, "Quiet down, quiet down." And then she just gets attacked by all these birds.
I would assume so.
One of the cool parts of this, and I don't know if this is in A Quiet Place, right after that happens and they're trying to get away from these birds and get into the house, Tucci, who's amazing, turns on the wood chipper.
Ooh,
So that's a great scene. The birds are attracted to the wood chipper sound, and they just fly right into the wood chipper. Bah, 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 bah.
All right.
One after
Fargo
another.
reference there.
Yeah, right, exactly. But dude, it is so bad, but so much fun the entire time.
Maybe I'll watch it for laughs, but I watched two things that are going to, topic-wise, lead right into our discussion today. Very cool. Also, similar to your circumstance, a movie, I don't know if I've ever mentioned, Paul Newman is one of my, if not my favorite actor of all time. I love Cool Hand Luke.
I didn't know that till our first recording yesterday.
And for whatever reason, I had never seen Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid before either. It's just like your Glengarry. It's a movie you would have assumed I have seen, and from start to finish, I just never, for whatever reason, saw it. I had seen glimpses of it. I knew the raindrops keep falling on your head scene a little bit because I've seen that clip and other things, but I never saw it. And it was great. Great buddy film. Really fun. Me and my dad watched The Sting a lot growing up. That was one of his favorite movies. And that was always the Robert Redford, Paul Newman movie that I knew and loved. And this one I loved as well. I don't know if I like it as much as The Sting, but great. We were saying yesterday, kind of
it started off that genre.
Western. It was more of a buddy movie that was kind of the first of the buddy movies that generated a whole genre of buddy movies after this.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also kind of started the genre. Like, you have The Sting as well, but Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, I think people think of that more as the quintessential Newman and what's his name? Movie.
Robert Redford.
Robert Redford movie. I think that's like that's the paramount. That's the tipping top of the mountain when it comes to that stuff. Yeah,
Great writing, great acting, great like banter between them, just really sarcastic, and a really fun cast too. You had Katharine Ross, who is most famously known as Elaine from The Graduate. An unshaven Shawnee matches an unshaven Sam Elliott, a very young, non-mustachioed Sam Elliott.
That is true, and that's what I get mistaken for the most when I walk around the streets of New York City. Sean, are you Sam Elliott? And I go, I know. I shaved my beard. We look exactly the same.
That's
a common misnomer, but I am not Sam Elliott. But one thing I wanted to bring up that we did mention yesterday when we first recorded this, I thought was interesting, is what was the point that you think Sam Elliott became Sam Elliott in all the movies that he was going to do from that point forward? Like the typecasting. Like I would say we could also do that as an episode. Who is the biggest typecast actor in the history of movies? Because Sam Elliott, he's up there as far as like you're putting Sam Elliott in a movie. You're like, you know what I need, baby. I need that Sam Elliott because like nobody's putting him in as like a fompish king. Like that's not happening to Sam. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not happening to Sam Elliott.
He's playing a cowboy.
He's playing exactly. He's Lebowski, the stranger at the bar that just has no name. The man with no name is a great thing for Sam Elliott.
He does play so well. I guess A Star Is Born. He was the brother of Bradley Cooper and played like that roadie role, but it fit him perfectly. I thought he fit him perfectly. That movie.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be like grizzled. He's more grizzled than fucking Cooper is in that movie. Obviously, in that movie, and he's a guy who, your career wise, we both do our fair share of, we do TV stuff and we do, and career wise. I don't know. I wonder if he appreciated where he's like, oh, the older I get, the more I fit into this role.
Yeah, I think he, what's the word I'm looking for? I think he embraced it. He does it so well. It'd be funny if he gets cast in a movie and he shows up and he's clean shaven and the director, buddy, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to have to push shooting back 2 weeks while you grow that thing in.
Well, there's actually a movie like when he plays a lawyer, he shaves off the stash.
Ooh.
There's a couple of them. There's a couple where he plays like a lawyer or a finance guy or something, but he still has that same like he's like the grizzled guy at the hedge fund. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's seen some shit in the stock market. He was there for the,
For
he was
sure.
there for
That's like Matthew McConaughey's in Wolf of Wall Street. You're like, you're still a little too Matthew McConaughey to be a true finance guy.
Yeah, but it kind of works for that role in
Right.
Wolf of Wall Street because you're like, oh, you're supposed to be an oddball, you know, like whatever it is.
And then the other kind of buddy film I watched was a movie I found on Hulu called Big Time Adolescence with our pal Pete Davidson.
Oh yeah. Would you say he's our pal?
No, not at all. Make it feel like we're cooler than we are.
Yes.
I mean, I did know the kid when he was like 17 years old doing stand-up.
No, we both know him. We're friendly with him. I'm just kidding around.
Yeah, definitely not.
He's a very famous person at this point. Like I
haven't kept in touch with him during the quarantine. Let's say that.
I'm friends with Kumail Nanjiani, and I texted him the other day, and he never wrote back. So, like, you know, these friendships are very short-lived in show business. You really,
I know,
you have to keep up with these guys to stay in their friend circle. It's very.
Did you write, "Hey Kumail, I hope you're doing okay with this whole big sick going on"?
I should have been like. I'm like, not everybody's eternal in this. Not a lot of eternals left during this. Am I right, pal? Am I right? Huh?
But yeah, dude, this is a cool movie. This is I really, really enjoyed it. Pete plays kind of a kid who was the king of high school, you know, when he was like a senior, and then is now 23 years old, but still embraces that lifestyle, still, you know, gets high and drinks every day, and is still the best friend of the little brother of his high school girlfriend. So to break that math down for you, he was dating this girl in high school, and her little brother was like 10 years old and would tag along with them. And then when they broke up, he and the little brother just stayed friends. So it's kind of a cool device.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then you see him kind of help the kid who's now 16 and in high school. It goes 6 years later. He kind of helps him go through high school, and it's not always positive. There's some ups and downs, and I don't want to say too much because it's a really new movie, and it just gives it's Fiore's 5-star flick of the week.
So you dug it, and it's funny. I would guess as far as character development goes, that being friends with that kid who ends up being 16 lets him stay young and not deal with real life. That's
absolutely yes, and it still makes him feel cool because he's got a younger kid who looks up to him and thinks he's cool. Yes, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, it's like fitting two roles. I haven't seen it, but I'll check it out, definitely. Well, it's actually fitting because I think, you know, his new movie just came out on demand. I think it was going to be in the theaters, but it's not.
Oh, the King of Staten Island.
King of Staten Island, and I'm kidding about not being friends with the guy. We're friends with him. I'm joking about that. But our actual buddy from the Comedy Cellar, Ricky Velez, is in it, I believe, and he also wrote it with Pete, I believe.
I believe a couple of our actual pals are in. I think Mike Vecchione's in it.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of comics in it, and we've actually gotten to know Judd Apatow pretty well through all this.
That's true, yeah. So it's true. Judd's a really nice guy, and go check out The King of Staten Island. That seems like, wow, that's like, you know, it seems like a really cool idea, and I'm sure, like, because also at this point, like, I like Pete as an actor. I really do like him as an actor.
Big Time Adolescence.
Pete's one of those guys when he got on SNL, I was like, oh, that's interesting that he didn't think they would do something like that. And then I like him on SNL. I agree. He's great. Like, he has a magnetism to him that you want to watch.
He does. You know? He has a magnetism. It comes through in Big Time Adolescence, in BTA, I'll say.
Big Time Adolescence. But check out Big Time Adolescence.
It was funny because all of our friends, when we would be at the Comedy Cellar, like Mike Vecchione had to grow and keep this giant mustache while they were firefighters. So it was a big, heavily mustache-themed episode here.
Yeah, they were all a bunch of them were playing firefighters, so they had to grow the mustache. That's right.
Vecchione wore it very well, I got to say.
But then we didn't know that. You'd be like, "What porno are you in from the 70s?"
Yeah.
So that does fit into today's topic.
Yes.
Which we're going to go over, again, we talked about it. We talked about it yesterday as a practice, and today we're really going to talk about run through. You want to tell everybody what it is?
Sure. We thought we would take an idea from my friend and loyal listener, Ryan McGinnis. Thank you for the idea. He said, hey, man, why don't you guys do a movie, defend your movie, based on the best or your favorite sidekicks in films. So we said, that's a great idea. Let's make our lists as we do. And I came up with some, and Shawnee came up with some, so we're going to go over them again. And I believe yesterday we started off with two of my favorites and yours, Walter Sobchak and Donnie Karabatsos from The Big Lebowski.
Yes, and it was very nice. You said you and that's The Big Lebowski, that's Steve Buscemi and John Goodman, and you included Steve Buscemi's character because you felt bad for him.
I felt bad for Donnie.
Let's just call him a sidekick.
It's really Walter is the sidekick, and, you know, kind of the even more of it. Maybe an argument can be made a bigger shining star than Jeff Bridges, but that's for another episode.
I was saying yesterday that he absolutely has some, if not as quotable lines, more quotable lines than
100%.
And he's just, and without him in the movie, it would have been. I can't even imagine that. Like you need that piece to the movie. You definitely do. But he also, but at the same time, it's a testament to the writing and the acting. He still serves the purpose of a sidekick. Like he's still a sidekick.
Absolutely.
And it's almost like knowing he's not like when he's challenged by the main, like the dude is the main guy. When in the movie, even when he's challenged by him, he does back off. So there is a sidekick.
Yeah. He backs off in his own Walter way, you know.
Common your.
I can get you a toe. Get your toe by 3 p.m. I have said this before.
Fucking amateurs. You want a toe? You want a toe? I'll get you a toe.
I forgot to say this yesterday, but I remember when in college, when I go, this movie is going to be the quotable movie, like for our generation, it's going to be like Caddyshack. Do you know what I mean? And I think it has. The script is so perfect. I mean,
the script, it's amazing.
I quote so many little lines. If I hear somebody's phone ring, I'll be like, phone's ringing, dude. You know, just like,
also,
there's so many.
I know this is pretty common knowledge, but it's interesting that, you know, there's lines that are heard the dude hears earlier in the movie that he uses later in the movie, which is such a cool idea for a script.
Everything is cyclical. I mean, it starts right in the beginning. He thinks he hears it, it just becomes back. You know, the aggression will not stand. He
hears George Bush say that, and then he tells the guys, the kidnapping, the rug guys that this aggression will not stand, man. And here's the thing. That mechanic, that doing that is what people do in real life. I've had conversations with people.
Absolutely.
Where I use a word earlier in the conversation, or they do, and I use it back at them later in the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
Like, you just throw it around. Yeah, exactly.
You know how many, like, facts and words I've learned from watching The Simpsons? That I've used in real life? It's embarrassing almost.
How many science facts you use?
Yeah, for sure.
But he's a really great sidekick. Serves the purpose of the sidekick. Might outshine the main dude. Dude.
He's like the emotional leader of the film too. You know, he leads the eulogy for Donnie, and he gets angry when people are supposed to get, because the dude is so mellow. He's so mellow. Walter picks up all the emotional slack for.
Yeah, it's like he's sucking in all the anger for him. Yeah. You're right. That's a great pick, and I agree with it. It wasn't on my list, but I agree with it.
Big Lebowski. Go see it if you haven't.
Yeah, if you haven't checked, if you haven't checked out Big Lebowski from '98, maybe stream that.
The Coen boys. I think there are big things for them on the horizon.
Yeah, I think they have a future. I'm pretty sure. I think the first one that I said was Pedro from. Yes. I almost said Pedro Zamora from Real World.
He was kind of a sidekick to Puck.
No, they were enemies. They were arch enemies.
Yeah.
I don't know why I almost said Pedro Zamora.
Well, you're a bleeding racist. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm a white dude. Yeah, and no, Pedro from Napoleon Dynamite, and
good one.
And I was what I wanted to say about that is that he fits the sidekick mold to a T, and does not outshine the main character. And also is good. It's like I think defining the rules of a sidekick should be like you're subservient in a way, which sounds bad, but you know what I mean. You're
right.
Second banana. You add comic relief. And you do not outshine the main antagonist, the main guy, the main part of the movie.
We learned yesterday there's different types of sidekicks. Definitely all second bananas, but some are a little more aggressive. Some play a bigger humor role. Some are there for more moral support, as we will see. But good points and good pick on Pedro.
Yeah, and I think Pedro is there. Napoleon Dynamite's an awkward movie, and I think he's there he adds more awkwardness, but in his own way. Like Napoleon's awkward in one way, Pedro's awkward in another. So it fits that world perfectly. Like, it's one of those things where I think that's another good. You can use this with any element of a movie, but you take that out of the movie, does it fuck up the movie? Then that's how you know it's perfect for the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you said with Walter, like you take Walter out of that movie, that's a movie about a guy who smokes too much weed. Like, it's not the same thing. Like, he's also he keeps the action going in the movie. Like, he keeps the whole story going.
Yeah.
Pedro is more of there for there's a comic relief there, but also. I think that he fits that role so well, and if you took him out of it, it wouldn't be as fun of a movie,
Agreed. Good one. I believe my next one, we went way back in time to not the Michael J. Fox movie that you're thinking of, but Teen Wolf and Styles, Jerry Levine.
Yeah, this is a biggie for me. Like, this was like, you wonder when you're growing up from these 80s movies, how much of your personality do you get from watching wise-ass sidekick in the 80s movies? And this was a trope. There was tons of these that, maybe not tons of them. Yeah, you know what? Oh my God, you could have, what's his name? Curtis Armstrong in Better Off Dead is a sidekick as well.
Yeah.
He wasn't on my list, but he fits that same mold as Styles does, with like the wise ass, like the more ballsy, like you have the main guy who's awkward and shy and probably a little bit better looking, and then you have the sidekick who's either like a weirdo or a wise ass, or he's like
absolutely
starting the shit. He's starting.
You even have speaking of Better Off Dead, you even have the anti sidekick. You have the bully and their sidekicks.
Yes, the henchmen. I would call those guys more, because they don't even get they have character names, but they're barely characters.
I immediately think of what Jeremy Piven comes to mind when he played a lot of those guys.
Yeah, he's in Better Off Dead. He's one of the and it's ironic because him and Cusack were like best buddies. Right. So like,
you make a fine little helper. What's your name? Charles DeMar. The funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
But Piven plays a great sidekick. Yeah. Piven always plays a sidekick to Cusack. Like, even in High Fidelity, he did.
Not High Fidelity.
Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yeah.
Which is like a little bit less of a sidekick. It's more like it's
but Styles is a classic. Styles had that Jerry Levine, who we referenced yesterday, who's the mechanical pencil in Seinfeld.
Yeah. I had to go all the way down to the warehouse. I had a fight with the foreman.
Big fight with the foreman.
You had a fight with the foreman? Yes. Doesn't he go, yes? He goes, yes. I think she goes, you had a fight with the foreman? And he goes, yes.
And don't forget, we also brought up the t-shirt, Styles t-shirt. What are you looking at, Dick Nose?
Oh my God. And I said, we got to do this. That has to be the Defend Your Movie t-shirt.
Yes.
We're going to give them away on a Patreon, or we're going to make them for sale for
somebody get that design going out there, Defenders. What are you looking at, Dick Nose? It's such a hilarious insult. Look at the clip. Dick Nose.
I want it to be the same. I love that writing from the 80s shirts, that bubble writing, whatever that is. So it reminds me of my buddy when I was in college. This guy I knew, he was like really adept at the internet already. Like, he knew coding. He was a really smart guy. And he made a rinky-dink porn site. Like, he made his own porn site. Ooh. But it was just one page, and it was like just pictures on one page. But he called it Jerry Malibu's Palace of Porn. That's what he made.
What a great name, Jerry Malibu.
At Jerry Malibu Palace of Porn, it was one page, but he
not
had
much
a
of a palace.
He had a shirt made up like that What's Up Dick Nose shirt with the same writing that said Jerry Malibu on the shirt. And it was great. I loved it. It was fantastic.
I love it. That's great.
So,
all right, you got one for me?
So Styles is, but one last thing I wanted to mention about Styles is that one of the coolest moments when you're a kid watching Teen Wolf is Styles surfing on the top of the work van. It's so great. He goes, surf's up. I think he climbs out the window and goes, surf's up. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yes, I had one that's on your list that I mentioned. Short Round from Temple of Doom.
Right. I wasn't going to bring him up unless you made him up because, you
hate that movie. You said.
Temple of Doom is it's not a bad movie, but it's just so much of a lesser movie than Raiders and Last Crusade. It's just a greatness sandwich with the meats. The meats are spoiled in that sandwich.
No,
but the bread is delicious.
Take it out of the trilogy. How would you put it up against other action movies, though? See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, still pretty good, but it's just it gets those. It's kind of campy and a little corny, and you didn't think that Indiana Jones does that so well in Raiders, and they do it so great in Last Crusade. You're just like, all right, this one's a little cartoony,
I got a good question for you.
What
does its trilogy better, Die Hard 2 or Temple of Doom?
Ooh, god damn it. Die Hard 2.
I know that Indiana is not a trilogy. I get it. There's a fourth.
Well, yeah, but I mean, nobody really counts. I think Die Hard 2. I like Die Hard 2. I think it's a better movie than Temple of Doom. If you're putting it up in that follows such a great juxtaposition of those movies because both of the originals are so great, and both of the third movies installments are phenomenal too. And the second one's just kind of like, eh. But I like Die Hard 2. I don't hate Die Hard 2. Temple of Doom, I'll turn off. I won't watch it if it's on.
Die Hard 2 but you think it's the worst one though?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just realized this. Even the Die Hards aren't a trilogy. They have four. They have
that's true too. But again, it's like, do we really count that fucking one with Justin Long? Ugh.
No, I don't know. No, not at all.
I know.
But Die Hard 2 is way better than people give it credit for. It's way better. But Die Hard 1's so good. That's why that happened. Yeah. And then Temple of Doom, you're right. It's still a good movie.
Right.
But Die Hard 2 would edge it out for me.
Ooh, that's
how about trilogy versus trilogy of Indiana versus the Die Hards?
I gotta go with Indiana.
I wouldn't. I would do Die Hard.
I knew you were gonna go Die Hard.
I absolutely would do that.
I love 1 and 3 on both, man. But damn, that's a tough one.
Some people go 3 on Die Hard is better than 1.
You think I'm in that camp as well.
That's right, you are. That's right. Yeah,
we did a whole Defend Your episode.
We did a whole debate about it. But Short Round as a sidekick, it has that new aspect to it that we haven't talked about yet of the kids as sidekicks, which happens a lot.
Yeah, the kid sidekick to the adult.
And he's like the perfect one. He's great at it. He's funny.
Yeah.
Like whenever you have they have to have a kid that's like, it gets away with being an asshole, like the kid gets away with saying things that an adult maybe wouldn't say, or you think of it a different way.
Cover your heart, Indy.
Yeah. Cover your heart.
And for the record, I believe we are both also in the same camp of Last Crusade is better than Raiders.
Yes, I am.
Last
Crusade, which I for a long time I felt bad about having that opinion because I was like, oh, the first one has to be the best one. But I'm like, no, Last Crusade is hands down my favorite one of the Indiana Jones movies.
Same here.
It's such a good movie.
Yeah. So here's one that I forgot to mention earlier. I mentioned it earlier in yesterday's episode is old Jerry Reed and Smokey and the Bandit, the Snowman.
Yes, that's like. Where would you put him in your list? Like, is he?
I forgot to mention him earlier. I would put him toward the end of my list. He's not near my favorites, but he's a fun one, and it's a fun movie, and he's a great sidekick. He knows his role. He's, literally, there to support Smokey. Literally is driving the big truck to. Or actually, no, I guess that's the other way around. Smokey is the, what do you call it?
Smokey
decoy.
Is the cop. Right. That's the cop. Yeah, exactly.
But Snowman's good. He's got old Fred, the dog. Jerry Reed is so good. He's got some funny lines. And, he's just like second fiddle to a great character in Smokey. And maybe my favorite song written for a movie, Eastbound and Down. It's just so good.
It's great. It's great. He wouldn't even get on my list just because I've seen that movie once and I have to rewatch that movie.
What?
I know. I know. I'll rewatch it. It's on streaming now, I think. So I'm going to rewatch it.
That's a flipperoo for me. If it's on, I'm watching it.
One I brought up yesterday. Also, we brought up all these yesterday. We should just keep saying that. But
Yeah.
it's so weird to retape because you're like, I said this, and everybody knows that I said this, but everybody out there has no idea. And this is like a major one for me. Major.
And I think I guessed it. I think I knew who you were going to say.
You did. You did guess it. You absolutely guessed
Yeah.
it. Cameron from
Yes.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like,
Great one, who was also on my list.
in the halls of movie history, I think
Perfect.
one of the all-time great sidekicks.
Absolutely perfect.
Knew his role. His life was his life was helped by being friends with Ferris, and Ferris's life was helped by being friends with him.
Yep.
Definitely, he helped the action of the movie go along with the whole dad's car thing. Is a whole plot, Cameron to me is because it fits it checks so many boxes. 80s movie, perfect sidekick, funny sidekick, well acted, has emotional parts to it. You feel the friendship,
like an internal sadness to him too.
Absolutely, we were talking about that. I keep doing it, but we were. The whole conversation he has that's the stock market where they're in Chicago in the movie, and he goes, he asks Sloane to marry him. Ferris does, and then he goes, "I'll give you 2 reasons not to get married: my mom and my dad." It's like and I was saying, that's such adult writing for a fucking kids movie. It's such a weird conversation because Ferris Bueller's The Day Off was marketed towards I don't know, man, older kids and teenagers. Do you know what I mean? So I think that fits into that John Hughes, hey, you're not alone if you're bummed out about your parents yelling at each other or something.
Sure.
Every John Hughes movie is there's a parental, there's the parents are on a different level. And we've talked about that before too, of we had that, what was it, a couple weeks ago, last week, where it was we did it more, the adults are dumber than the kids. Yeah. But every John Hughes movie, the adults are on a separate plane. You know what I mean? The adults.
Right. They're more placeholders. They're not getting outsmarted by the kids, even though obviously in Ferris Bueller's you have, the whole Principal Rooney thing. And it's not
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess Ferris's parents are they're not dim-witted, but they're just getting the wool pulled over their eyes. It's they're just doting, they're clearly in love with him, but they
make them seem pretty dopey. They definitely have a thing where they seem pretty, cause even when they're and he's doing such bad acting and they're all right, you feel better. But yeah, you're right. But he's supposed to be the favorite child and they believe whatever he says and that kind of thing. But they definitely make, them, they're on the outside of what's going on in the reality of the movie. They're just they're the ones that have to be not in the know for the movie to happen,
Rooney, you're an asshole.
You're an asshole. But yeah, Cameron's a great one. Yeah.
One that I had that was kind of bizarre and out there. That's a fun one, but it's in maybe my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Read Rothschild from Boogie Nights. It's
such a great one. This is a John C. Reilly. It's probably the ultimate. Is it the best thing John C. Reilly's done?
I think so. It's
definitely what made him famous.
I think he's such a great actor. He's so funny, and he can really pull off a lot of stuff. But
he's a super funny guy.
The best thing he's ever done. It's definitely, I think, the best thing Mark Wahlberg's ever done.
It rides that line, man. It's an unintentionally funny role.
Yeah, agreed. Well, it's such a dark movie. Everything is really unintentionally intentionally funny. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which is very hard to pull off.
It's super hard to pull off. The understanding, it's going to sound so dramatic, but the understanding that Paul Thomas Anderson has of the human condition is on a different level, I think.
Oh, he's so great.
He gets the comedy in things being dumb or in life or in, or the way that, you have the Reed Rothschild and then you have the scene, then you have somebody like T.J. Mackey in Magnolia, and the scene with him and Jason Robards.
I was going to say Magnolia maybe magnifies it a little more.
Yeah, gut-wrenchingly dramatic. Nothing funny about that scene at all. He knows the levels of drama, how drama can be comedy in life, and how it can't.
And I think those are my favorite types of movies. Honestly, the Coen brothers do that so well too. It's like
yes, they do.
These high drama movies that also are hilarious because of the humor that you have to find in those scenarios in life. It's it's such a perfect combination.
It's the dark humor. It's even Buster Scruggs has the guy with no arms and no legs thing where it's like there's parts that are funny, but the whole thing is gut wrenching at the same time. So it gives you that weird butterfly feeling of like, oh my God, this poor fucking guy. But as far as Reed Rothschild goes, yes, definitely. And how he comes on the scene and when Dirk Diggler shows up and at first he tries to big dog him and then he just falls right in line, to his role. It's actually probably hard to do as an actor that way, or the way it's written is perfect because there's really no exploration of that. Like I think the only showdown they have is at that pool, and then it's just that's the way it is.
That's it.
Correct? Yeah.
Because it's this guy's literally the new big dick in town.
Yes, yeah, like he just, literally, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you have a great big cock. May I see it?
Yeah, it's like two gorillas meeting in the wild. It's like the same thing.
You work out at Gold's Gym? Nah, I would have seen you there. I'm there every day. God, that Colonel scene is so heartbreaking when he is in.
Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Oh my God.
Are you my friend, Jack? Jack, and then it goes quiet, but you still see him mouthing it. Are you my friend? Oh my
God. That is, oh my God. That is like one of the most awkward scenes in a movie.
Are you my friend?
And said, are you my friend? Jack, are you my friend? That is
the real film, Jack.
That's what I mean. Like Paul Thomas Anderson, Jesus Christ, man. What an amazing talent that guy is.
How many times have we said that in life? It's a real film, Jack. R.I.P. Ricky K.
Ricky J,
sorry.
Yeah.
I got two more.
Also Ricky K died too, so R.I.P. Ricky K.
Yeah.
Some guy Ricky K must have died.
Going through the whole alphabet of Rickies.
Yeah.
Look out, Ricky M.
I have my one that is definitely not on your list that I mentioned. I'll mention it quick. Is Cosmo Brown, played by Donald O'Connor.
Yes.
In Saving the Rain. Lifelong sidekick. Not just not a Boogie Nights situation where they're fast friends. These guys have known each other since they were, like, in the movie they show you, little kids, and this guy has always been second banana the whole entire time, but they love each other as buddies. And I mentioned that there's like Singing in the Rain is one of those movies that when I watched as a kid, I'm like, I want to be a dancer, but I'm not a dancer. I've never been a dancer.
I want to dance.
I just want to dance. But like you'll watch it. It's the manliest you'll ever, and this will sound bad, but it's the manliest you'll ever see dancing. Like it's these two guys that were like staunch heterosexuals just dancing away in this movie, and it's really good. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate dance, but you don't usually see these real gruff and grim meatheads dancing in movies. But these guys are like it's not like you were like, oh, this is I'm digging myself in a hole here, but you know what I'm saying. I'm basically saying that it's so much fun to watch these guys dance.
Well, no, we mentioned this yesterday, but it warrants mentioning again is that when you're at the Comedy Cellar where we work, you have this introduction kind of movie, and
there's an intro video at the
make them laugh. And we're saying I didn't know that was from Singing in the Rain because I haven't seen the full thing, but that is maybe one of the, if not the best, displays of physical comedy where it's just like, it's like the classic physical comedy. It's like the guy running up the wall and doing the backflip. Like it's not comedy. It's not movie magic tricks. Like this guy is doing all those things, like
he's doing it
jumping on the couch and having it land. It's like, how they got that, I don't know if they did that all in one take or how many it took them, but it's insane. It's impressive.
I should have looked it up, but I think he had arthritis in his legs while he was doing that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I'm almost positive. I know something was up about that. That dance scene was like that something happened the day before where he was having problems with some health problem, but he still did that dance. So just to see Donald O'Connor Singing in the Rain is worth it for that. Like, here's the thing. I don't recommend like older movies like that unless I think people really like Rear Window's the last one that I said, yeah, you gotta check it out. But Singing in the Rain, you gotta watch. The comedy holds up. It's like, whatever it is. But then we had a matchup of these. We had kind of like the same type of sidekick at the end of the episode that we taped yesterday.
Yes. Can I say one that I forgot yesterday, which I think
of course
bears mentioning, is Red from Shawshank Redemption.
Oh, see, that's up for debate, I think.
I agree. When I was thinking about it, I go, is Red a sidekick? And
I don't think he is. Do you think he is?
It's a very tough one because they're both very independent. Red is very much like the man in charge of he's a man who knows how to get things. And
that's the thing. And
Andy's a very solo kind of guy. I don't know if Red is really a sidekick, but
I don't think he is because also Andy Dufresne he's not taking advantage of the leader role at all in that. The only time that he gets
purposely, but that's the thing. He does kind of help everybody in the prison. He affects their lives. Maybe not help, but he affects their lives. But
the intent.
Memorial Library. He helps Tommy. He helps the cops. He gets all the guys beer when he tars the roof. It's all his ideas without really taking anything for himself.
If Red is a sidekick, he's the most confident sidekick I've ever actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna rule against. No,
I'm gonna rule against it. I don't think he's a sidekick. But the only time he gets sidekicky is at the end. Like it's weird. Like when Andy teaches him about stuff that he didn't know. Like the only reason why you think he's a sidekick is because he gets thrown for a loop at certain points where scenes like where he's like, I want the actress. What's the actress's name? And I can't think of it. But when he wants the poster and he says her name.
Oh yeah. Not Marlene Dietrich. It's
whatever her name is. So things like that, and then that way, yeah, same here. And that way, Red, you're like, oh, he's a sidekick because he's like doing stuff for Andy, but he's the elder statesman in the prison. Like Andy, and there's a disruption that comes in from Andy, like that. These guys, like, but he's not like
Raquel Welch,
Raquel Welch. Red is not. It's not even Raquel Welch. No, it's the one before that. There's one before that.
You missed my Seinfeld reference.
I heard it. But when it comes to Andy, Red is not beholden to Andy and Andy. Like there's no following of Red to Andy. Like that's not happening.
Agreed. I agree.
It's an equal footing. So I wouldn't say it's a sidekick.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Well, my big one, my number one of all time, the sidekicks of sidekicks is Mr. Garth Algar, ladies and gentlemen.
Woo! Wayne's World. Excellent.
Party time. Wow. He's my favorite, and I think he really knows his role. And it's funny to mention too that he was such a good sidekick, was really kind of lost without Wayne. They make it. It's such a funny device in the movie that whenever Wayne's not there, Garth gets really paranoid and really awkward and shy. And it's funny because as how much he needed Wayne in the movie, they famously, Dana Carvey and Mike Myers didn't get along at all while they were shooting.
So it's even better. It's even greater of a job that he did that.
Yeah, which is even more impressive.
Yeah. Super impressive because those those relationships like that can affect the way a movie is. Now, if two characters aren't supposed to like each other in a movie, that helps too if they really don't like each other.
Yeah.
But the fact that those guys butted heads and they're on screen together the whole time, like they barely have any alone time in the movie.
Professionals, two pros, man.
And as far as my quintessential sidekick, I don't know if he's my favorite. I think Cameron's my favorite.
Yeah,
but this guy's more of a sidekick guy. He's more of he fits the role better. Silent Bob from Jay and Silent Bob. When it's in the like, there's nothing that's Ferris Bueller and Cameron. Like when it's in the name, you know it's a sidekick. And
that's true.
And talk about not saying much. He doesn't say anything. And still does a good job of establishing his presence in the movies and TV.
Doesn't he say something right at the very end? Wasn't that their thing?
Yeah.
He says like one thing at the very end.
In Clerks, yeah.
And also in Mallrats, it's always something very wise at the end.
Yes. Yeah, he gives that's the gag. Like he just says one thing that like encapsulates the entire situation or something.
Yeah, a Jedi needs not these things. It was always like a Star Wars reference or something.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Now I'm not even, as time goes on, I don't think the Kevin Smith movies hold up as well. I think they're very 90s and whatever.
I think Mallrats is my favorite and holds up
Mallrats,
pretty
I like
fun.
Mallrats.
I love, I'm from New Jersey and I love those movies because they're so packed with Jersey stuff.
This fucking kid loves Kevin Smith. It doesn't like Bruce Springsteen. I don't understand you.
I don't actually love Kevin Smith movies, to be honest. I love Clerks and I love Mallrats.
I was just kidding anyway, so.
But yeah, it's true. I don't love Springsteen.
You don't like Springsteen? I can't get over it.
I love New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey and I'm proud about it. I love the Garden State.
Is that a song?
That's our song. I only know that actually from a Less Than Jake album.
You guys should be ashamed of yourselves.
Yeah, okay, Long Island's better.
Whatever. But yeah, when it comes to Silent Bob, a really, really great sidekick. Cartoonishly a sidekick. There's a couple of these. Wayne's in the same boat where it's like Jay and Silent Bob just could have been a cartoon, and you would have been like, oh yeah, that makes sense for the material. It has that feeling to it.
Hey, when did you become a nut bar? The guard's got some funny lines, man. And give Wayne's World 2 another rewatch. It's a very funny sequel, very underrated. It's got some really funny parts to it.
Yeah, I really do have to rewatch that. I saw it a long time ago. So that's basically our countdown of our favorites. We know, Defenders, that we have forgotten a ton of sidekicks.
Oh, yeah.
So why don't you do this? Why don't you tweet at us at Defend Your Movie on Twitter or email us, defendyourmovie@gmail.com, and let us know which ones we forgot. We'll answer your email. We'll tweet at us because it's more fun that way and everybody can see it. At Defend Your Movie on Twitter. Let us know which sidekicks we forgot, which are your favorites, which you think fit into the role, which are ride the border, or in and out of the definition of what a sidekick does. And which also, if you took them out of it, would destroy the entire movie. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, Shawnee Time. Is Kramer Jerry's sidekick or is George Jerry's sidekick?
George is Jerry's sidekick.
Yeah, you're right.
Right? Kramer's not. Kramer's
a little independent.
Yeah, Kramer's not on his own schedule. But
he does love Jerry. He does look up to Jerry. Dude, I was watching one the other day. When you see Kramer's door open, he's got Jerry's old black and white headshot on his wall.
Does he? Oh, that's so funny.
Have you ever seen that before?
No.
Oh, I got to screen grab it for you. There's one time, you never see Kramer's apartment. Really, the most you ever see Kramer's apartment is the hot tub scene. But usually he's always in the door frame, and there's one, you can see Jerry's old headshot on his wall. It's like, because Jerry's doing that classic, 1980s pose, head on the hand.
Yeah, it's from the sign language picture that he has on the cover of his book. Yeah. Dude, but yeah, I would say Kramer is more of like Donnie from Big Lebowski. Where he's he's got his own schedule. He's not the main sidekick.
Kramer's sidekick.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He literally plays the sidekick on the Merv Griffin show.
Yes, exactly.
Where are the
Newman, because that even proves to you more that Kramer has his own thing going on, man.
Yep.
And also, Kramer will George will barely butt heads with Jerry, meaning but Kramer Kramer left and went to Los Angeles. That's not, so, but George would never do that.
Well, George is ruthless though. George would sell anybody out to better George though.
Oh, yeah, he has done that during the show. Because he blames Jerry right away for everything.
We've already got it, George. Can I come? Dude, he sells Jerry and Kramer out so quickly.
Right away! The bizarro world.
A fun episode. I apologize to everybody again that this one's being released late, but still just as fun a time. Shawnee, I love you. Thank you for being gracious and patient with me.
Oh, of course, my friend.
On my memory lapse. And this one, I was staring at the recording button going the whole time. So,
well, I'm at Shawnee Time on Instagram and Twitter. I have a website, SeanDonnellyComedy.com. I have a show on Sirius called Celebrate. We do it every week at 4 on Raw Dog 99
on Wednesdays.
And Andy, what about you? On Wednesdays, yes.
pretty much the exact same schedule, Shawnee. You can follow me at Andy Fiore on Twitter and Instagram. I also have a website, andyfiore.com. Nothing's going on there right now. But, yeah, Shawnee, you can hear on Celebrate at 4 on Wednesdays. You can hear my show, The Raw Report, on SiriusXM on Raw Dog 99 on Thursdays at 4 p.m. And, of course, on demand at all times. And we should say that go over there and sign up if you want to check out our shows. They are doing a free streaming service through the end of May. So you still got a whole nother month. And if you like what you hear, why not throw the kids a few bucks and sign up? It's really great. I couldn't live without SiriusXM now. Honestly, I'm addicted to it.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, cool. So we will have another episode for you next week. We're gonna try to start up the two episodes a week thing again.
Yeah.
Right, Andy? Yeah.
Yeah, we just had a little bandwidth room fiasco, so once we get that figured out, we'll be back.
Yeah, we're just changing that, and then also there's things on the horizon as far as more content goes. So, yeah. So remember also to subscribe and
5-star review, baby,
and 5-star review and write a review, and it only helps the podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you, Andy, for recording. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.